Yo, what's up, jazz guitar friends? Larry Tamanini here. Jazz guitar under 5 minutes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hey, just caught me doing one of my favorite warm-ups, right? Just a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, right? In a minor key. But what I ended up doing is I cut it up into 4 different pieces, right? C, E flat, F sharp, A, right? Really challenging exercise because what you'll notice, I kind of shifted every time, right? Sometimes when you're trying to learn scales in all 12 keys, it can be really, really challenging and it can be overwhelming before you start. I always find it's easier to cut scales in half and start splicing things around that way. Check it out. You know, when things move in minor thirds, you're going to have to shift a lot. You know, if you had to play in fourths, there's not a lot of movement there, right? If you have to play in fifths, again, the patterns sometimes can hold true, right? When you're dealing with like thirds, either way, right, up or down, there's no real pattern you can stick to. So you really have to learn the notes. It can be really tough, right? I started out by doing 3 octaves, but let's just deal with 1, right? I just did 2. Let's talk about 1. So I'm going to start here, right? Easy, start on my first finger. Now, what I like to do, I don't always start on my pinky, but that's a good case where I'm probably going to start on my pinky. And you'll see I picked up the new root there. And then I like to lead with my first finger and my third finger. So there you saw me do it in F sharp, right? Always helps to like not want to use all your fingers and to recycle some of those fingerings so you're not always starting over again, right? And so practical to start with your first and lead with your third, right? Let's try that just maybe the whole way with just my first and my third. Right? Wow, I covered that much ground with just 2 fingers, right? So maybe the less fingers I'm using, the easier it can be to get inside the notes. And that's always a good idea. And what's great about this is you do it in 1 key and you kind of have covered 3 other keys together. So that's 4 keys. You move it up and down a half step, you pretty much covered all your bases. Getting used to the fingering on the guitar and just like owning all the notes is like one thing. But this is a great way to kind of like separate all the fingerings and knowing all the notes and just sort of concentrating on one thing and covering some ground, right? And if you're playing jazz, these are going to be patterns that you use a lot and that you see a lot. So really, really useful as an exercise that can translate into like real lines. So all right, jazz guitar friends. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minor thirds, right? C, E flat, F sharp, A. Going up the fretboard. Not many better ways to go about learning your instrument than doing something like this. So all right, guitar friends, if you made it this far, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I really appreciate all the amazing support. Thanks so much. Always love putting up content. Be